Now push the button.
And we're there. We're go for episode 64 of Ladies Wot Pod, which has very much an international feel because Saints weren't playing this weekend mainly, but there were a lot of Saints-ly involvement over the weekend. And I just commented that we are both wearing sort of vaguely French attire, which shall we just start with that? Shall we just start with the situation in Ireland, where it's a bit bizarre, wasn't it? Where we're all supporting France, really, just to make it blow it open. That my daughter has an English bear who is named after Brian Moore, and he's about this big and very intense looking and very opinionated for a bear, but he had an existential crisis. He had to support the cheese-eating surrender monkeys against the Irish, but that was what he felt he had to do. So,
yes, it was. Yes, all of us wanted the French to win, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I'm an Irish passport holder, so what am I saying? I wanted it because I wanted the championship to be, I just wanted it to be mixed up a bit.
It certainly mixed it up.
It felt a bit of a procession, and it didn't feel right that it was a procession, because I don't think, even in earlier rounds, I don't think Ireland have played the best rugby. So I was looking forward to the French continuing to play how they had against the Italians, just to see what happened. And it was a cracker of a game.
It was a brilliant game. Yeah,
it was a really, really good game.
And actually, the scoreline did flatter the Irish, because as one of the Irish commentators said, well, that's just typical French, isn't it? In the last 10 minutes, they know the game's won, so half of them are still playing, and the other half are having a cup of tea and a cigarette. And I'm thinking, well, if they're French, they're not going to be having a cup of tea. Oh, they might be having a wine or an Armagnac and a cigarette.
Pastis or whatever it is.
Ricard or something.
Did you see Grumpy Carly at the end of the game? There was a bit of a huddle going on. They were all having a bit of a group, and he was encouraging them to the middle to form the exit off the pitch bit.
Oh, far be it for them to enjoy themselves.
It is the thing that we remarked on, that when French teams are coming to
yes.
That, or in the case of Stade Francais in Paris,
the
tradition of applauding the opposition off the pitch seemed to have disappeared. So I think actually Grumpy Carly got it spot on, because I think they were handing out the brandies and the cigars and celebrating.
Oh, bless him. But yeah, and mention the loss of Dupont, which fortunately didn't affect the French team, and I think it gave them some backbone. Good grief! But that was a really, really unfortunate incident.
Yes, and very strange that Mr. Gardner didn't want to even review it. I found that really, really odd, because there were many things that were reviewed, but. Anyway, very odd.
Anyway, it is what it is, and we hope he gets better soon. I doubt if he watches the pod, but
if you do, Anton, get better soon.
Get better soon. So anyway, that kind of blew the championship wide open, really, didn't it?
It absolutely did, and of course, it was a bonus point win. There was nothing in it for the Irish whatsoever. Which was more. I texted you and several others saying I hope Berger and Dingers are watched, because I think our Saints midfield. If we do come up against an Irish team, no chickens are being counted in the making of this sentence. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I don't think the Irish have resolved their own debate about who plays 10 for them. I think we saw a young. I feel sorry for Pendergast because they've just sort of chucked him in, and it's like, oh, by the way, you're the new sexton, so get on with it.
Yes, that's right. Crack on.
Didn't teach him anything, so just and the ghost of saying that Banquo's ghost, bless him, can't leave him alone. So I mentioned this to Dr. T. We know that the fly halves in the England team have Johnny Wilkinson as their mentor if they want him to help. But you don't see him on match day trying to be part of the gang, whereas I get the feeling he can't let go. Johnny is there when the guys need him, and he goes off to do his punditry unless required, and he's not required because they've all agreed what's going to happen. And I think somebody in the well, I'm not going to tell the Irish how to coach, but it just strikes me as odd that a young player is being. It was very strange.
Psychologically, you've immediately got the reference point, haven't you? So for the Irish fans even watching, there is Johnny Sexton, so they're reminded of how good he was, while Sam Prendergast is still trying to find his way around the international fields. Yeah, it's not fair.
Very strange the way that was handled. So I think they've got their own debate between Crowley and Pendergast, as we talked about before, and I don't think that's resolved. And as always, Irish teams, they go that one season too far when it comes to the age profile. So I think there's a few people who really, if they've got such a talent pool that they claim. I actually heard the sentence that I thought I was going to hear. Well, we've got such a dependency on Leinster that, we really need the Munsters and the Connaughts of this world. It's like,
well, perhaps
well, hold on a minute. You built your whole thing academy. You can't have it both ways. If I was sitting there in Munster, it's like, what, the actual?
Yes, seriously.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I heard that and thought, well, good grief. I bet Connacht are just going, you can just do one. Only with a little more expletive laden than that.
Exactly, and a lot more wind if you're in Connaught.
Oh yes, always. So that was highly entertaining, and it did mean that doing the sums, we're going, if we get 5 points against Italy, no chickens, etc., then we'll go above Ireland. How much fun would that be? Maybe if we'd have played the right team against Ireland in the first place, we might have been above Ireland right from the blooming start. And breathe. Anyway, so that was not going to be ranty. It shouldn't be ranty. We all won. Scotland and Wales. You said you got bored with that. I wasn't
alone. Chris Ashton described it as, I went off to make me tea, he said on the. Well, I went for a nap because that's what I went for a nap.
I got it on the radio and it didn't keep me awake, so that was the level it was at. But I did listen to the end of it, and I don't know what Scotland were playing at. 80 minutes was up. They got 5 points they had, hadn't they? So kick it out. Do not go for glory, Blair Kinghall. Oh dear, look what you've done. You've given Wales a losing bonus point. You absolute idiot. Buffoon. Buffoon is my new insult. So yeah. So that was that. So and then shall we do the two Englands against Italy's? So on Friday night we had the under-20s.
The under-20s who were game playing at the Rec at Bath themselves were in Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
In that competition. Oh wait, no, in that competition. Oh, I think we do need to have a quick chat about.
We'll get round to that in a minute.
We'll do that later on. So England under-20s against Italy under-20s. Ollie started.
Ollie started,
and he was brilliant in the.
He did really well.
He did really well. Edouard,
but I thought we'd got. What happened to Aidan? I thought Aidan.
I don't know. But he wasn't even on the.
No. So have they broken him?
Yeah. Can they stop breaking people, please?
Yeah. Anyway, England under-20s.
So Ollie played really well.
Ollie played really well.
But
they made heavy work.
Talking of Nick Heath, as we were, I enjoyed Sarah Hunter and Nick Heath's commentary. It's really, really good. I learnt a few things from Sarah Hunter. She's right, and you can tell. God, the dinner table in their house must be interesting. I feel sorry for the poor little mite looking between them. What are you on about?
Probably joining in by now. No, I think you'll find that actually the move they were playing was...
no, but I really enjoyed Sarah's insight. It was really, really good. We of course had Mr. Tadaro playing in midfield for the Italians.
Yeah, Eduardo.
Eduardo was working incredibly hard, but it was all a bit messy. You and I we weren't totally chuffed with the performance, though. It was a bit...
It should have been the way they played against Ireland and France. They should have blitzed Italy off the park in the first 20 minutes. There should have been no chance of a comeback or anything. And to be honest, they didn't. Now, my man of the match would have been Henry. He wasn't even playing.
It's funny, Dr. Jones said that.
I know. But to me, you see the influence he's had on that team, I feel. And you and I were talking earlier that we think one or two of them are believing their own publicity, and actually they were missing the man who doesn't believe his own publicity at all, for all that the mainstream media will tell you. Oh, they've got to keep a lid on it. He doesn't need to get... He's the least cocky young man that you can meet. He's a lovely young man. And he's done it. There was an interview I saw briefly with... was it Fremo? Saying, or Dingers, or both of them, saying about how much having Henry on the pitch just is so impressive, and the under-20s missed him.
Yeah, he's very impressive. So, I think it was a good win. It was 5 points. You can't say fairer than that. But I think Mark Mapletoft will have learnt a lot about his next generation of under-20s. Is it your mother again? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I think it is. Excuse me one moment.
Anna's mother, who has featured on the pod before.
She has. Just one moment.
If you recall. And left a voicemail. Liz has gone to answer the phone.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello, it's me. I'm just podding. I'll phone you back when I've finished. Okay, bye.
One of these days.
Well, within a minute. It's all so professional.
Could we...
all so professional.
And...
so professional. No, shut up. Oh, for goodness sake.
Now, if you recall, the last time this happened, we had a voice... Was it the voice... The machine would not stop.
It's not stopping. It's not stopping again, either. Sorry, if anybody ever deleted these messages off the answer phone, it'd be helpful.
Oh, if I played the piano, I could sort of play a little tune. Well,
right. November. We're back to November.
Wow. I don't think I've ever had that many voice messages on my home phone ever.
End of messages at last. Nobody ever phones up, do they? Stupid thing. Right, where were we? Many apologies for that. So professional.
So, yes, we were talking about...
I might move out to the shed and make that a studio get rid of the harpsichord, it can become a studio, and then I wouldn't be bothered.
Yes, new podding place. Yes,
Yeah.
we're talking about the under-20s, and I think Mark Mapletoft has learned a lot about this team. Some of them are incredibly young, and ironically, we've got more youngsters to come through, because you can see the under 18s are already producing some seriously talented players. So it's going to be an interesting few years as to how that we get through these generations. But Mark Mapletoft seems to be doing an absolute belting job.
He does.
Coaching.
If they could just stop breaking our scrum halves, we'd be very grateful.
I mean,
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
We've got through 2 scrum halves, and we don't know what's happened to Aidan, but because we're not part of the camp. But we do know that Ollie played well. So well done, Ollie.
Ollie played well, and so pleased for Ollie.
So on
Sunday, he must have another season. He must have another season at under 20, I think, doesn't he?
No, because he played last season, didn't he? Did he? Got a question to ask him when we see him next, because I'm sure we will.
We'll find out. We'll clear that up. Yes.
Right. So then the big boys.
So I think the IT department's just fallen down the stairs. It's all happening. The IT department is moonlighting today as a bathroom uninstaller, because he's taking out the old bathroom, so before we put the new one in.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Earlier, so talking of England, who were also playing Italy at the Allianz Stadium,
Twickenham to you and I. Yeah.
To you and I. Stuart Farmer, who I understand is a very famous statistician, is a Leicester Tigers supporter, gathers up, but he came up with an absolute belter of a stat, which
he did,
which we thought we ought to share. So as of yesterday, the Saints lads equalled a Leicester Tigers record of 5 backs in the same England Test team. And that record was originally set in 1983 with an old friend, Liz?
Yeah, our mate Dusty.
Dusty Hare. So Clive Woodward, Paul Dodge, Les Cusworth, and Young's first name. Forgotten.
Mike. He was a Mike.
Yeah. Anyway, 1984. In the days when Liz used to go to Twickenham.
Used to be great fun at Twickenham. Picnic in the car park, meet the same people. I think it was possibly at one of those matches when I came out of the ladies' loo, and there were 2 young men chatting, and I thought, I know them so well. I was heading off to talk to them, because you always met people you knew there. And I was sort of striding across the concourse to greet these 2 chaps I knew terribly well, and fortunately I realised that it was Sebastian Coe and Gary Lineker, and I didn't know them at all. So I was able to veer off and lose myself in the crowd before I'd yet again made a complete and utter fool of myself. So.
Excellent. Well, that's a cracking record. So, fantastic to see so many backs. And of course, many people talked about it would have been interesting if Ferbs had been fit. Would we have had a 6th back in that lineup? The other thing we also noted, partly because Finn has talked about it a lot, is that, of course, Ollie Lawrence and Finn Smith have played together at Worcester and are old chums. Yeah. So, in actual fact, the understanding between across the back line was probably slightly greater than even we realised. And didn't it make a difference? Oh, my Lord. Didn't it make a difference? The newly named Dingers apparently has been called Rodders because he's been likened to Rodri, the glue player of Manchester City.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that Manchester City are having such a terrible season, because Rodri's injured. Having Dingers there, it did not make a difference. Huge.
And they were saying in commentary a bit as well about he's not a flash player, but he just does everything right.
Yeah.
And, there was one absolutely lovely... reads the game, and there was one pass he made when he was being tackled, and they said he managed to keep himself, get the ball off. It could have gone another player would have let it go wildly, but his strength is such that the pass just went to hand. I think it led to possibly a try. It might have been one of Slight's tries. I can't remember, but yeah, he was, as we know, Dingers is just a very unflashy, very, very good player. Very good.
He's player. He's the man that makes the machine work.
Yeah.
And it was great to see it. What wasn't so great was seeing poor Ollie Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot him. They believe it's his hamstring.
I thought it was his Achilles.
Sorry, what am I saying? It's his Achilles.
I thought it was his hamstring. It seems to be.
It has bad vibes for me with mine. But anyway, no, it was his Achilles. And the way that the England team are talking is it could be season ending, which is...
It's a shame for him.
Real shame, because he is much as we got cross with him after his visit to the Gardens, he is a very talented young man, and it clearly upset everybody involved in the England camp to see him suffer in that way. However, I learnt this morning that there was some confusion when a certain Smith who came on, and Marcus had to run to the edge of the pitch. I don't know and actually ask, "Where's everybody going?" So there wasn't a plan. There wasn't a plan as to who was going where. And
did he not think to ask when he ran on? I mean, far be it from me to think this would have.
Tell him. Why didn't they get the message to him? I mean, what was going on? I mean,
you're on. Ollie's coming off, and he was lying prone for long enough for this to be sorted out.
To get their act together. What the hell was going on?
And even for Marcus to say, "Well, what's happening?"
The midfield.
Where am I going?
It did look a bit confused because we appeared to have two 10s on the pitch, and
I thought your suggestion that Daly thumped Marcus was possibly not good, though.
Well, it would have moved. We could have carried what was left of him back to fullback position to remind him. Seriously. I mean, yes, it all looked a bit confused, and it took a while to settle down. But when it did sort of settle down, it was great to see. I thought, and the interplay between backs and forwards looked terribly familiar, and I did love it that normally this sort of thing grates me, but I did love it that the commentary was going, "That's the sort of thing that Saints would do."
It was
would do as well. And you think,
there was a lot of that.
There was a lot of that going on because we didn't have box kicking Alex anymore. We had sniping, we had the ball moving very quickly. Cheer up, Will Kelleher in the Times. What are you giving Finn a 6 for?
Oh, I saw that. Nobody.
Nurk. I
mean, nobody got above a 7. Nobody got above a 7. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, much happier in the Guardian. Anyway, was it a stellar performance? Up until I think 30 minutes to go, I think it was a very good performance. Why we started dithering about and playing, I mean, I was going to London last night, and so I ended up listening to some of it on the radio, and I had to switch it off. Poor Dr. Jones. I just said, no, I can't listen to Dawson losing it one more time over Jack Van Portfleet putting the ball into orbit, because we went back to playing the way we were against Scotland. So, yeah, there's still some work to be done, but it was a good win, and it puts us in second. And I'd love.
And it was just lovely to see Mitch playing to his comfort levels. And there was one bit where he went back to classic Mitch, where I thought, where are you going? And everybody else thought, where are you going? And he thought, where am I going? But it all paid off in the end.
Well, yes, he was trying to see if there was space. They rescued well, it wasn't that he needed rescuing, they just settled it down again, and he box kicked one of his amazing box kicks into touch. There was some comment that Finn's kicking, the length of his clearance kicks is huge, and I think that's an area that he has improved so much. I mean, it was always good, but he was kicking it miles yesterday. It was great to see. So it was a good win.
Good win. I
think Mr. Angry, I'm so glad that Mr. Angry is now going to be top dog at the flight home table.
Well, Dad, remind me.
How many did you get?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got a lovely couple of tries. I'm not convinced by the mullet.
No. What? No.
But then, you know.
No. What is no? You do realise
the revival of the mullet thing.
That's going to be his photograph for decades now.
Oh, yes.
It's not realised.
It's not good. No. But these young people, they won't be told.
No, they won't be told.
They won't be told. So it was a good win, and it means we're in second. Hurrah!
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, so Super Saturday. The points difference of France.
Oh yeah.
And the fact they're playing at home against Scotland, I somehow think the championship will be going. Well, you never know. Sport is a strange thing,
and it is the French.
And it is the French.
And it is the Scots.
Cross at what happened, you know.
Yeah.
And we do know that he didn't do so well without him last year. So, you know. But I think in all probability, it will be the French that win it. But I have to say, England have started to realise that they've got some seriously talented backs. Please make use of them. And it, of course,
I read on social media somewhere somebody saying the backs didn't gel.
Well, they didn't.
What?
At that period of time when after Marcus Smith came on, it was like we'd never met because we had two teams. We didn't have a full back. We had if they were just worrying about that period of time, I'd be with them. But once we'd managed to get Marcus to believe that he really was a full back, and that was this was commenting on Finn saying, and then the backs didn't gel, and I was thinking, I don't know what you were watching, mate. No, Finn played brilliantly.
There was more gelling going on, even when Marcus was headless chickening. There was still more gelling going on than we've seen in a long time.
I thought the pack were very good. They got
very good.
And
they were working as a unit.
I have to say, Will Stewart sidestepping tight head props. What's going on there? I mean, that was wonderful. I was applauding the television. I would just absolutely Big Trev. We need that one in your armoury. Yeah,
we do.
Yeah. I thought that was outstanding. I think Will Stewart has actually calmed people's nerves about our front rowers. I think he's done a really, really good job in the front row.
Yeah.
I think he's done. And of course, Ollie Chesham is just a very, very classy player.
Very, very talented.
It's been a while since we've seen the rampaging Itoji in a white shirt.
Yeah.
He got his dander was definitely up. And I thought the back row were very, very good. Something must have happened to Tom Willis because for the first 20 minutes, he was absolutely everywhere. And then he seemed to disappear. And then at half time, I think he must have picked up some sort of knock because they swapped him at half time. But at that first 20-25 minutes, he was awesome, and scored a really nice try.
And Tom Curry as well, I thought played.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so I think the pack were galvanised by the backs. It was it was quite interesting to see.
Yeah, interesting.
See what was going on.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, it was Italy, and although their backs are no slouches, I did feel sorry for Jamie George as he watched their right wing fly past him. Yes. So, but things are improving. We're heading in the right direction, and we're not watching stodge, which has got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
We should mention what happened in the Premiership Rugby Cup. I didn't watch Friday night because couldn't be. I was watching the under-20s, and I couldn't be asked to turn over the channel. I just kept an eye on the score. I did watch a bit of. I think Sandy Park is living up to its name. I think it's turning into a dust bowl again. There's no grass on that pitch.
Is it not?
No. Ealing gave Exeter a real scare, but a real scare. But there was nobody at that game. absolutely nobody there. I mean, there was tiny numbers of fans.
Well, it's going to happen, isn't it? When you've only got a week to arrange the game, and the kickoff is at such a stupid time.
Mm.
You know,
I don't know. I mean, I worry that the winner of this is now going to be two teams who largely played. At least Bath played some of their their youngsters, and only brought on the big guns when they thought they were going to lose. But Exeter effectively have played a first team throughout.
Yeah.
And we really got to make up our mind what we want this competition to be. I don't think we've really squared that off. And with the news about the championship teams, Ealing, even if they'd won it, wouldn't have been able to defend it. So, yeah, all a bit weird. But But I'm not going to watch the final. I don't think I'll bother. It's not going.
No.
And yes, Bath, of course, have got to go to Exeter.
It's nice for them. It's not that far, though, is it, for them?
Relative to if everybody else had to go, they're Bristol and them and Gloucester probably. So it was a good weekend of rugby, and
was
Super Saturday, as they're calling it. I don't think it's that super.
What's super about it?
Got to come up with some moniker, haven't they?
It's just the name of the campaign, isn't it?
Indeed. Towcester Under 10s and 7s, were they busy this weekend?
They were training. We do have incoming videos, which we will show now.
So today the games were tough. It was training, not a game, but we did play one game. But training was fun, and at the end we played a little game, and I'm going to ask you to hold this, and can you throw that at me? I caught it not like that, I caught it like, could you do that again please? No, not like that. High up there.
It's hard holding a camera.
Basically like that, but with one hand like that. And then I scored a try. Although, when we were doing captains, our captain said I could be scrum half, and I was really good at it. And I really enjoyed bossing everyone around. That was fun. Bye. Running teams, I scored 2 tries, and I got 5 tags. And I put my boot on my head. And also one of my coaches said that
that you've gone doolally?
Yes.
There we are. So, yes, just to put in context, Hannah said that the pass that Harry took, where he was trying to recreate it and didn't, was really impressive. She said one of his mates was a blind offload, and Harry managed to take it in one hand, grab it and do a try. Sorry, I nearly used the wrong terminology there. I nearly said score. I mean, my goodness me. And as for the little one, the international man of mystery, he was being a bit of a clown, I think. Good way with his boot on his head, and he'll just be happy when he gets to the age group when he can get stuck in and not just do tags.
Doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, it's just
sort of tags.
Yeah.
Well, I've got walking rugby news.
Oh, have you?
So Dr. Jones played walking rugby yesterday, and his assessment was he nearly did 2 tries.
Nearly did 2 tries. That's very good.
Yeah, I don't know if the VAR got involved or the TMO, but he nearly did 2 tries.
Nearly did 2 tries.
He failed to get back fast enough in defence. But other than that, he had a good time. What was left of him came home. He looked a bit tired, shall we say?
Yeah.
But yes, so walking rugby was, and he realised it was the first time he'd been in 2025, because unlike you guys in the barn, the Histon guys play outside, so a lot of time the pitch has been unplayable, or we've been travelling. So so he was glad to get out there, but he nearly did 2 tries.
Nearly did 2 tries. That's really good.
He did get the verb right. So
that's very good.
How was your walking rugby?
Well, we had because they're doing something in the barn, we couldn't use the barn, and because we now have this funding from the men's mental health thing, we had a mental health wellness session thing where we all got together with a cup of tea and a biscuit, and had a quick chat about what makes you happy, really.
Walking rugby.
Walking rugby, doing stuff. So that was that, and they're back there possibly playing a match on Thursday. I don't know, because we're going to Cheltenham to lose money on the Otties.
Oh yes,
Cheltenham
it's your Aussies week, isn't it? Yes, it's your Aussies week. I don't know if Dr. Jones is walking rugbying this week. I didn't ask that question. I'm sure he will if he can. But we are going to watch a game, aren't we?
We hopefully are. We hopefully are. Yes. Yeah. Sure
we don't know which Saintsman, because they usually, I remember Ewan Baker scored a lovely try that I completely missed. I saw in the distance. Oh, well done, Ewan, as I was heading home, because I was soaked to the skins when I was on my own. Remember, there was that huge thunderstorm before the game last year. And I was drenched, and they suggested that I was...
This is Bedford versus the Army, ladies and gentlemen.
The Army are on their grand tour towards Twickenham for the big Army-Navy game, and it's becoming a bit of a fixture, this, in Blues calendar. So Goldington Road on Friday night, if you want a bit of rugger, Bedford Blues versus the British Army. Tickets are on sale, share for 2.
And 1 max snack with girl.
All right, don't worry. What is this about?
Not just me.
Getting involved? Dear Lord. That was my little speech deciding to have a go. Yes, so Chef 2 say, please do come and watch.
And very, very good chips. What is happening what we need to tell the good ladies and gentlemen who are listening and watching? We got nagged by the system before we started, while we were having a chat and a catch up.
Rolls-Royce software of podcasting software said, "Are you going to pod at some point?" You know, we've noticed that your guest has been here a while. It's like, all right.
We've got that. We've got unwanted telephone calls. We've got your...
having a go.
Good
Seriously.
Lord.
Anyway, back to Goldington Road. Back
to Goldington Road. Yeah.
Yes, it's become a bit of a fiction. There will be Saintsmen, I'm sure, in the team. We don't know which ones, but I'm sure Mikey Rare will have a few sprinkled in the team. As I say, I remember not getting Ewan Baker's try last season, but yes, so I'm looking forward to that, and I do believe you may be joining us.
Hopefully so. Yes.
Excellent.
We're just sussing out the ticket sitch.
Yeah, we can get a rugby fix this weekend.
Yeah,
which is really good. Unfortunately, I have to get the big lens out again.
Oh.
Yeah, well, floodlights sinking into the mud. Yeah. I
don't know what the weather forecast is for the rest of the week. Is it
cold?
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm not going to tempt fate on the. But it's going to rain, hail, or snow. But it's getting colder. So the layers are back on. What I would say is,
I've got my heated gilet now, though. I'm not afraid of the cold.
Battery operated heated gilet.
Yeah.
What I would say is, one of my friends snitched on Dave Rogers. Do you remember, talking of technology having a life of its own? And he was remembering about his new cameras, and they were doing weird things. Well, a man from Canon came to explain to him how they work.
Oh, good. So it's nothing to do with me. It's nothing I've done. Really, Dave? No, it's just done it by itself. Really, though?
Yes. So I'm looking forward to seeing Dave, so I can ask them
That'd be fun.
What did the man from Cannon say?
Yeah. Please ask it when I'm there. I want to know what that.
Yes, and then we're back. So England are playing Wales in Cardiff at the Principality.
I believe so.
I know lots of people love the Principality Stadium. I can't say it's one of my favourite places to work at. You have to walk miles from the press room, and then they're really stern with you. If you sit in the wrong position, we will eject you from the ground. It's like, you too.
Crikey. So not just move you along.
If the States do get to the final, I'm really looking forward to that lecture again. I am hoping to hear soon. So I've got a bit of news. Thanks to Bobby Bridge, my dear friend Bobby Bridge, I have been in contact with the Scottish Rugby Union about shooting one of the women's Six Nation games up at the Hive. So season 4 last, Tim and I went to watch Scotland play Italy. We didn't realise the significance of the game until we got there, and it was the Hive is a lovely, lovely stadium. It's basically temporary stands, so it'll they'll gradually, I imagine, make it more permanent over time. But it was a fantastic game and played in great spirit. And I remember saying to Dr. Jones at the time, I really love to shoot a game here because it just looks fun. Everything's very tightly compact and all the rest of it. And so we played Tigers on the Friday night.
We do indeed.
I mentioned to Dr. Jones, look, it's a 4:45 kickoff at the Hive for Scotland versus Wales in the Women's Six Nations. And he mulled about it. He said, why don't we do something really stupid and drive to Edinburgh on the Saturday so you can shoot the game?
Yes.
Yes. It's akin to when we shot Saints playing Harlequins in the Premiership Rugby Cup at the Stoop and then drove to Penzance for the day. It's a similar sort of experience. Now, I haven't got accreditation. I've applied for it, so they could go back and go, ha, not a chance, Mrs. Jones. We've got lots of other more important people than you. But hopefully I'll get accreditation and I get a day trip to Edinburgh to shoot at the Hive. So yes, and I'll get to see Rachel and her team, Rachel Malcolm and her team, playing against Wales. There you go.
Should be fun.
Should be fun. But then I'll hopefully hear about it. So yes, Saints, I don't think they stopped. I think a few of them had a break. I hope James Ram had a break because he'll fall off his twig otherwise. But I don't. Yeah. I think quite a few of them didn't have a break. They were back in.
Quite a few of them should not have had a break after that game.
Liz has spoken. Yes, I think there were quite a few that were training last week, and of course there'll be the build-up to the East Midlands Derby on the Friday. So we'll be back in harness, and then before we know it, it's Europe. It's here we go again.
Yeah. What bird brain thought that having the Derby weekend immediately after the Six Nations was a good idea?
I have no idea. I think it's probably because of the timing of Europe. Because it basically goes, we've got one of these weird things where it goes one Gallagher Premiership game, and then you've got the round of 16, and then you've got the quarter final.
You've got two. You've got two.
I thought
you've got two.
Oh, we've got Sale.
Because we've got Tigers, and then we've got Sale away.
Sale. No. Yes.
Sail away.
Another double weekend where Dr. Jones went, we can go to Sale on the Friday and then we can go to Goldington Road on the Saturday. It's like, okay.
I will be in Tenerife.
Oh, of course, you're sunning yourself. Yeah, I've forgotten about
I looked Manchester on a Friday night or Tenerife.
Well, I get the delight.
Call me a fair weather supporter, but you know.
The Salford Community Stadium, followed by Goldington Road.
Lovely. The better chips at Goldington Road. I just don't understand why they made it, because the sort of stupid thing they do. Oh, let's make it the Derby weekend immediately after the Six Nations.
Yes. Well, and of course, for the Derby weekend, doesn't that mean that Newcastle play Sale for the 50 millionth time? Because they've played them about 5 times already this season because of the Premiership Rugby Cup. And it's like, and the same price against Tigers. I mean, you would have thought they'd want them further apart. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, because
reason.
Joined up thinking and anything to do with the RFU? Oh, please. That's never going to happen, is it?
No. But it's good to be back in harness very soon. I think we'll break ourselves in gently with a bit of Beffa Blues. Oh, actually, no, gently's not the word. They're large Fijians chucking people about the place. So it won't.
I was going to say, when the British Army are involved, it's not going to be gentle, is it?
Yes, and I do love the fact that they all have their rank. So Sergeant Major, whatever. Has just scored in the corner. Yes, I do like that. But so we're breaking ourselves in gently.
We are, yes.
On Friday, and then we're back in harness next week. Very exciting.
Yep. So we'll do a normal pod next week, and then the week after I'll have to dial it in from beside the sea.
International podding, ladies and gentlemen.
International podding,
International podding. Very, very good. Before we go, any Saints supporters news, or is it business as usual?
It's just trucking along as per at the moment. Until the games get going again, it's all a bit meh. Really.
It is a funny time of year. It is a funny time of year. But anyway. Yeah. So was
episode 64, done, dusted, and with thanks to the special guest by my mother again. I better go and phone her now.
You better go and phone her, because she'll want to know, what did you say?
Yes.
Anyway.
And we will regroup and see each other soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.